What is going on, people? It's the Witch Doctor, and today I'm bringing you another deck profile of a very cheap deck to make. I thought of it out of nowhere, like it came to my mind, and it's a deck that revolves around Deoxys and Banette. Now, I know what you're thinking, and you're absolutely right. These cards are not all that good, and neither is this deck, to be honest, but it is something that is actually kind of fun to play. Because, like I told you guys many times, for those of you who watch me for my TCG stuff, I love gimmicky stuff. It's so fun to play. You know, granted, you probably won't win all that much, but it's fun to do something different when you used to play competitively a lot. I still do from time to time. I'm working on my Vespi Queen deck. It's just I'm missing some shamans, but other than that, guys, I like to have fun when I play this card game, and this is definitely something you can have fun with because it's cheap to make. That's the best part of it. It does not cost a lot to make. So let's get into what the deck does. So basically, it revolves around cheap attackers, people who don't need a lot to attack. So first off, let's look at Deoxys. It's a basic Pokemon with 110 HP, weak to Psychic, 1 retreat. Not too, it's okay. But the attacks are, for 1 cardless energy, close encounters. If you go first, you can use this attack on your first turn and draw 2 cards, which is actually very nice if you do decide to go if you are able to go first. And Overdrive Smash for 1 psychic and 1 cardless does 30. And during your next turn, this Pokemon's Overdrive attack does 60 more damage. I sighed because I ran out of breath. But you have a chance of doing 90 damage for just 2 energy. Now, 2 energies for 90 is still not that bad, but you know, is that really worth it? Well, let's see. Let's add up a muscle band to that. We have 4 muscle bands in the deck, so that 90 is turning into 120. So that's actually, 110, which is actually pretty good. So for 2 energy, that's not bad. So how can we make this a little more efficient? Well, we have Dimension Valley, so each psychic type attack has 1 cardless less. So for 1 psychic energy, we have the opportunity to do 110, which is insane, which is the amount of Deoxys HP, which is funny. But even if we are not able to do 110, we're still able to do 50 for 1 energy, which is actually still pretty good. And even 30 for 1 is actually good as well. So because there's no drawbacks to this attack. So Deoxys is actually pretty good. And if we have a Dimension Valley with no energy and we go first, we can actually do a close encounter for free. Like we can do it absolutely for free. So now let's look at Banette. Now Banette is actually a really weird card, and I looked at Banette a lot and I'm like, what does Banette do? It doesn't seem like it does a lot, but it actually isn't too bad at all. With Delta Evolution, you can basically evolve Shuppet into Banette right away. So turn 1, we can leave with a Shuppet and then go straight into a Banette. It's actually pretty cool. And Banette's attacks are Evolution Jammer, which is I actually kind of like. For 20 damage, your opponent cannot play any Pokemon from his or her hand to evolve his or her Pokemon during his or her next turn. So you can basically stop your opponent from evolving, which is pretty cool. You know, Mega Evolutions, you know, won't be able to happen and such like that. But we're mainly going to use Curse Deeply, which is for 1 psychic and 2 cardless with Dimension Valley is just 1 psychic. Put 5 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon, which is actually pretty cool because we're going to be racking up damage with this card and with other cards that I'm pairing it up with a deck, which is Golbat and Crobat. So Golbat, if you do not know what it does, we're using it for Sneaky Bite. When you evolve your Zubat into Golbat, you will put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So we get to pick, which is nice. And Swoop Across for 1 cardless does 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, which is actually pretty good because Golbat has no retreat. So we can easily switch them out. Plus, with Dimension Valley, we're doing this attack for free. Now let's go ahead and look at Crobat. Surprise Bite, we can put 3 damage counters on one of our Pokemon from evolving. And Skill Dive, we can do it for free. It does 30 damage to one of our opponent's Pokemon. So Crobat can actually be a pretty decent attacker in this deck as well. And it has free retreat. So it's actually very nice. We run a 2-2 line for everything. 2-2-2, I mean. So It's very nice. And we run 2 unknowns to have a little bit of draw power. And we run 1 Absol to, you know, move 3 damage counters from one of our opponent's Pokemon to another, just to help move things around to get an easy knockout. So that's pretty decent, actually. So that's the Pokemon. Let's go with the supporter and item cards in the deck. So we are running 1 Crushing Hammer and 1 Enhanced Hammer, just to disrupt our opponent a little bit, because obviously our HPs are pretty low. We can get knocked out very easily. 1 Escape Rope, 3 Level Balls, because a lot of mons in this deck are searchable with Level Ball, especially Banette. 2 Professor's Letter, because we only run 8 Psychic Energy in the deck. I could have run Dangerous Energy, but I decided not to. 3 Scoop Ups, Super Scoop Ups, to put back our Absol and our Golbats and Crobats to basically start doing the process all over again, which is actually very nice. 2 Switches, 3 Ultra Balls, I believe I'm running. Yep, 3 Ultra Balls, 3 Versus Seeker to help us get some supporters back, and like I said, 4 Muscle Bands and 4 Dimension Valleys. So 4 of those. Now let's get into the supporters that we have in the deck. I had to think very carefully about this one. So we run 2 Shauna, 3 Professor Sycamores, 2 Lysanders, which I love Lysander's supporter. It's just so good. And 1 AZ to help put our stuff back in our hand, which is actually a very nice card. And my alarm is going off. I apologize for that. Anyways, and our last card, which is actually really weird, Ace Trainer, because obviously I don't think this card will get a prize lead anytime soon. So if your opponent has more prize cards left, and if you have more prize cards left than your opponent, each player shuffles his or her hand, and then, you know, you then draw 6 and your opponent draws 3. So this card is weird. The reason why I added this is because you could easily take this out for another Shauna, which I might do. I just wanted to test it out because this deck is actually pretty weird, because I like it because you can start off very strong and you can start knocking out your opponent's Pokemon pretty fast. So you play this card. Yeah, okay. Just making sure I'm reading it right, because, you know, you can play this and it's a nice way. I don't know. It's just it's a weird card, and I actually might keep it. I'm not too sure. I might just take it out and you know, yeah, let's not even run it. I was looking at it before and I was like, I want to do it, but I think 3 Shauna would actually be pretty good. I don't know why, but I thought the card would be decent, but now thinking about it long term, it's not that good. But this is the finalized deck profile of this, you know. So now you know what the deck is. So you could try it. You could probably get these cards relatively cheap, guys. Like I said, I'll have a game with this deck up maybe tomorrow or the day after that, because I'm kind of liking the uploading every other day schedule, because it kind of fits with my schedule from working as well. With that said, guys, darkness.